Just recently, both Doug Rice and Brad Gillie got to sit down with Kyle Busch and talk to him about what we can expect to see from him in that number 8 team in 2024.
A nice milestone is in range for you this year. 20 consecutive seasons with a win. Do you care about numbers like that?
Oh, yeah. No, that's one that I remember watching as a kid when it was actually Ricky Rudd who was doing it for years of getting up there, 10, 11, 12, whatever, and owning his own team and winning at the Brickyard and all that and making a big deal of winning at least that race throughout the year. And I was like, that's kind of cool, I wonder who's got the most. And, of course, Richard did. And I'm like, I'm going to beat that one day, And so, fortunately for me, last year I was able to beat it. But, it's every year going forward now that I get to add to that and keep setting the new mark of being able to, get it higher.
Compare today to this time last year. This time last year you were going into a bit of an unknown, switching race teams and all of that. Didn't know if that win would come. And now you know that, hey, you guys can win at least 3 races in a season, and you're going into your second year. So how is today different than where we were a year ago?
Today is obviously different just because of the amount of time that I've been at RCR and working with Randall and working with the team and the guys and everybody like that. So having that chance now of being able to kind of have a fresh start of a little bit of a notebook going into a season and being able to rely on some of the stuff that we've done that made us good or better throughout the season that we can kind of just continue to tweak on and go out there and contend with the best of them and win some more races this year.
No, you made that move with great consideration last year, but was there any trepidation at all thinking, okay, I've done this, I hope it works out? But it did seem to.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I thought back to my days of Hendrick when I was at Hendrick and Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon are winning 7, 8, 9 races a year, whatever it is, and I'm only winning 1 or 2. And then I'm at JGR and, Denny's doing well and I'm only winning 1 or 2. And then I'm like, man, if I move to another team that isn't quite as populous of winning races, then, man, this could not go well. But, you just got to put your head down and focus forward and work as hard as you can with your people and make sure that you go out there to get the job done. And we're able to do that. I feel like we started off the season so hot, and ran really well through June that then I was like, man, if we can just keep the front half of the season and the back half of the season and get 3 more wins, we've got a shot here for a championship. But things cooled off and I made some mistakes and we just got to clean that up.
Hey, how cool is it that the track where you won your first race, California, you won the last race that is ever going to happen at that racetrack because it's torn down now?
Yeah, it's a sad moment. It's a bittersweet moment, but obviously having that on my name is really cool. I remember winning the last race at Bristol on the old concrete before they redid it. They gave out concrete chunks to all previous winners and drivers and stuff like that. So I've got that still, actually sitting next to the trophy of the last win there, of the last surface, the 2007 win. So just stuff like that's really cool. I remember winning the inaugural at Kentucky. I think there was one other inaugural race that I won, which was good. But just try to keep those memories alive and rolling. That place was fun. I love California.
After so much conversation, we finally got in the street course race at Chicago after Mother Nature turned off the spigot and you guys got to race. The public seemed to be intrigued by it. What was Kyle Busch's thoughts?
Well, when I was stuck in a tire barrier, it wasn't very high. But as we were able to get pulled out of the tire barrier, not have much damage, we just kind of played the strategy where we were looking at the time of the day, and we were looking at, no lights, obviously. So we were like, this race isn't going to make it the full distance of laps. So we just kept coming in under those yellows that we were having and kept putting fuel in it and making sure that we had the freshest stuff. And when everybody else was going to run out and they had to pit, we would cycle in front of them. And that worked out for us to our advantage. We got a top 5. We had a shot there late to get a win, but I was never comfortable getting into getting into turn 4. Just never felt like I had the car underneath me, so I wasn't making time down there. And I got passed by a couple guys. But overall, good race. Fun experience. I think the fans had a great time, even for the weather being bad. If we go up there and it's a 80, 90-degree day and it's sunny outside, I think everybody's going to have a blast.
Can you see that happening again somewhere else?
I can, yes. Looking at the city of Vegas, they all weren't too thrilled with F1 being there. But it was a great show. It was a great race. It really put on a really neat aspect there. So maybe there's something with that. There's other areas obviously that have been kind of rumored around of something in Manhattan, or not Manhattan, but like Long Island area or something like that. But you never know. We'll see. That'll definitely make some people not too happy.
I'm curious if you feel there was a shift in Kyle Busch fandom. A lot of people say going to RCR, going to Chevrolet, but for me, the most popular driver is actually not voted upon, but it's decided at the souvenir trailers. And when you had M&Ms, I mean, every M&Ms driver did well. And I'm not saying you didn't because you're Kyle Busch, but in the absence of that, you were top 3 this year?
Yeah, third.
Yeah, third this year in souvenir sales. What does that say to you?
Second in drivers, third overall.
All right, second in drivers. That's true because what, NASCAR?
NASCAR was number 1 with the 75.
What does that say to you that you're second with a variety of sponsors, all of those things?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously it's great, right? I think the fandom of the NASCAR fan base has kind of changed a little bit and given me a little bit better shot being at RCR and back with Team Chevy. But it's been fun too, just kind of taking a little bit of a load off, a little bit less pressure maybe, and just kind of going out there and still working hard, but yet doing the things the right way and saying the right things has meant a lot to the fans. And Rowdy Nation's always been strong. It's just now more people are recognizing and understanding that I'm okay. Hey, give him a shot. He's not bad. He's not terrible. But with the sponsor thing, that's tough in our sport this day and age. With just, I think the biggest sponsor we have nowadays is maybe Napa, and I think they take 18 or 20 races of the year with Chase Elliott, but the rest of them, like the biggest sponsor you get is 13 or 15 races if you're lucky, So we're fortunate enough this year to have Zone nicotine pouches on board with us. They'll be our primary sponsor for the majority of the season, so up in that number of races, 12, 13 races, so it gives us a chance of being able to go after some more brands that can fill in the rest of the schedule.
So I'm kind of following up on Brad's question. Are you kinder, gentler, Kyle Busch now?
Yes and no. Off the racetrack, maybe. On the racetrack, no. Still as fierce as ever. Want to go out there and win and rip everybody's heads off.
2 years ago, Doug and I sat and talked with you in Daytona about Rowdy Energy, and we learned so much about what you had learned, cans per store, all the things that you were telling us. Fast forward to today, you shut down that brand. You sold your Truck Series team and manufacturing facility, and we see you all over social media, family racing and everything, Tulsa Shootout with you and Brexton and all of that. So your world, outside of just sitting in a race car for 500 laps, say, on a given weekend, is completely different now. What can you tell us about all that?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I feel like was the world of Kyle. The circle was really, really big, and now we're just trying to shrink that circle and make it a little bit neater and, just do the things that are necessary and kind of get rid of the distractions of the things that aren't necessary. Honestly, the Rowdy Energy thing, if that thing could have blown up and taken off, that would have been Brexton's sponsor forever. You know what I mean? But it obviously didn't. It was a venture that didn't work out, and it's unfortunate for us as a family. It was a loss, obviously, but you live and you learn and you move on. So that's what we'll do, and it's going to be fun to continue to progress in my racing career for the remaining however many years, and then obviously build up Brexton and get him here too.
I think it's funny on our side, we forget how much you guys are in the spotlight. I Googled something the other day, and the first story that came up in Google was Kyle Busch is on a vacation at an island.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's a little intrusive, but that just shows the kind of attention you guys draw.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What was really interesting is, we're in a foreign country, and I'm in the gym, and I'm working out. Samantha and I are there, and a couple comes over, and they say, Kyle? And I'm like, yeah. And I don't know where they were from. I'm going to say South America, but they did not speak very good English. But the guy knew who I was, and he was like, I was at the Daytona 500 last year. And I was like, oh, man, that's cool. I won the Daytona 500, but unfortunately it was the Daytona 519 last year, so I didn't get the trophy. But he was like, yeah, I was there. And he was like, I'm going back this year. And I'm like, oh, right on, man, cool, So it's just amazing that you can be in all kinds of different places of the world and get picked out, and, that's kind of crazy.
Speaking of the Daytona 500, and yes, you did. Too bad it went longer. But is RCR your best shot that you feel you've had in your career? Have there been missed opportunities that, among all of the drivers we see that we don't notice?
No, there's been missed opportunities for sure. One of them was when Harvick beat Mark Martin. That was 2007, I believe. We were going down the backstretch, and I kept telling myself, get in front of the run, get in front of the run, get in front of the run. And I didn't take it soon enough, and Harvick went around my outside and blew my doors off, and then we spun out off of turn 4 and crashed everybody. And then another year, I think, was 2016, where it was the Toyota group where all of us were working together, staying in line, keeping everybody at bay, keeping everybody back. We were all told to, do that. And it came down to the last 2 laps of the race. It might have been the last lap of the race where Denny jumped to the outside and got in front of Harvick. And I wished I would have done that and gotten in front of Denny. But then Denny was able to wiggle his way through and snake his way past the other Toyota brigade and score the win there. So there's definitely been 2, if not 3, chances of victory that have slipped my fingers.
It feels like the Daytona 500 is almost like a gymnastic routine. You can do all of these great flips and twists, but you got to stick the landing.
Yeah.
And you can lead 193 laps there, but it's the last 1 or 2. I mean, I guess
no, it's
that's
the last
the
one.
It's
one. Just the last one. You got to lead that last one, and you don't even have to lead the last whole lap. It can just be the last 5 feet, whatever. It doesn't matter. But crossing that line first is certainly hard to do, and everybody's gunning for it in that race, and emotions get high, adrenaline gets high, everything gets pumping there at the end of the race, and you can see a lot of mayhem.
As Brexton gets older, what does he teach Kyle Busch about racing?
Everything, really. I'm trying to push him a little bit about being a little bit more aggressive, but he's really smart on the moves that he makes and the chances that he takes and things like that. So I give him credit where credit's due. He puts himself in a lot of good spots and doesn't tear up a lot of stuff. So I've been fortunate to working with him and seeing him progress and do really well. And when he does listen, we do run better. But he can do a lot of great things on his own as well, too, because not a lot of these classes allow radios, so I'm not on the radio with him talking to him through it. It's just about the film and the video and the teaching afterwards.
Good luck this year.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take it anytime.
Maybe if the Daytona 500, wherever it ends, you're number one.
I want to be number one. That's right. Yes, sir. Thank you.